It's Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. Let's talk about the news. From Reuters, Argentina's Peronists soar in election to seal runoff with radical Milei. The incumbent Peronist coalition received 36.6% of the vote in Argentina's general election last weekend, which is enough to put them in first place, but not enough for them to win outright, which means they will face the controversial and colorful Javier Milei in a runoff election on November 19th. Milei shocked many pollsters in the country's August primaries by winning the vote on a platform based on fairly extreme far-right positions and an authoritarian approach to governing, including the dissolution of the country's central bank and the adoption of the US dollar as the country's official currency. He wasn't able to repeat that feat in the general election, taking second place with about 29.9% of the votes. But that's enough to worry the Peronist coalition, which has overseen a devastated economy and inflation rates that have hit 124%, amplifying a cost of living crisis and causing many people to consider any possible alternative, even a radical one, to the current status quo. From France 24, Philippines and China trade blame over collisions in disputed South China Sea. The Philippine and Chinese governments have each accused the other of causing a pair of ship collisions in the South China Sea. This is a hotly contested area that both countries claim as their own, and both are in the process of building out local military infrastructure to reinforce those claims, with China having done a lot more of that so far than the Philippine government. Both sides accuse the other of acting aggressively and unreasonably in this and other recent near-miss cases, and though no significant damage was reported in either collision, accidents caused by misunderstandings and bravado on the part of military leaders and captains wanting to make a point are watched closely, as there's some concern that they could spiral into military conflict if not handled carefully, especially in hot spots like this one. And from the Associated Press, Chevron buys Hess for $53 billion. Fossil fuel giant Chevron has announced that it will be buying oil and gas exploration company Hess for about $53 billion. That's a big investment, though still smaller than the $60 billion or so purchase price of Pioneer Natural Resources that ExxonMobil announced a few weeks ago. While Pioneer will mostly allow Exxon to expand its shale oil efforts in Texas, Hess will give Chevron shale properties in North Dakota, and perhaps more importantly, a major oil field in Guyana, a country that is expected to become the world's fourth largest offshore oil producer within the next decade. Both purchases set these multinational companies up to keep producing fossil fuels well into the future, striking a bullish stance at a moment in which many governments and companies are investing heavily in renewable energy infrastructure. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.